In today's video, we're checking out the DesView T3 teleprompter. Let's get into it. Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. This is a full review of the DesView T3 teleprompter. The T3 teleprompter can be used with both mirrorless cameras or with a smartphone thanks to the included adapters. In this video, I'll be using it with my Panasonic GH5S with a 12mm f1.4 prime lens. The DesView T3 teleprompter is designed with content creators in mind. The beauty of this teleprompter is you can write out a script on your phone or tablet and play it back using the DesView app. The phone or tablet simply clicks into the lower portion of the teleprompter and you're good to go. The teleprompter app is also free and can be downloaded from the Google Play or iOS store. Before we get going, I just want to let you know that this product has been provided for this review. DesView did not get to preview this video ahead of time, nor has any cash exchanged hands. The best way to review a product like this is to lay it on the line and use it in a video. I've never used a teleprompter before until this very moment, and I've always been keen to try one out. When I shoot a video normally, I have to say the same thing over and over again to hopefully deliver what I'm trying to say as concise and direct as possible. I sometimes do the same line different ways 2 or 3 times and then pick the best one in editing. The idea of a teleprompter is to make it easier to be concise and deliberate. Some people who read off teleprompters look a little bit robotic when it comes to doing this. This is my first time and I hope it works okay. For those who are already subscribed, please let me know if you can see a difference between something reading from a script and something that I would usually just say in the moment. Let's now cover some of the features. One of the features that appealed to me the most with the T3 teleprompter is that it works fine with wide angle lenses. I'm currently using the equivalent of a 24mm lens on a full frame camera. This is the 12mm f1.4 prime for micro four thirds, and there's no issues whatsoever with this field of view. It doesn't see the edge of the one-sided mirror or anything like that, so you won't have any problems there. Another cool feature is that DesView has its own Android and iOS app. I've had no problems downloading it and installing it from the Apple App Store, being that I'm using an old school iPhone 6s Plus. Included, we also get a Bluetooth remote control that operates on 2 AAA batteries, or AAA, depending on how you like to say that. The included remote control allows you to play or pause the text scrolling. It can also allow you to scroll by page up or down, which is something I've done a number of times. The remote can also help you adjust the speed in case you need to read faster or slower. If you crank up the speed and have great articulation, you can be the next Gerald Undone. He's so fast when he talks, I love it. Included in the box, we also get an array of adapter rings. These are used to screw onto the filter thread on any lens you have. The adapter rings in the box include 49, 52, 55, 58, 62, 67, 72, 77, and 82mm thread sizes. This teleprompter is made for anyone and everyone wanting to shoot video. Thanks to the included smartphone accessory that can be mounted onto the back, you can easily choose to shoot and record with your mobile phone. So if you don't have a professional camera, you can still get great results. Now, if you're going to be using the teleprompter to record with a phone, you'll need a secondary device to be used as the actual teleprompter text, so just keep that in mind. Let's talk a little bit about the setup experience. Setting this up was fairly simple, although I wish the instructions were a little bit easier to follow. The images in the manual were far too small, and it made it look way more complicated than it actually was to set up in reality. I ended up having to use an instructional video online to see the setup process, and that helped greatly. I'll link that video down in the description below, and I'll no doubt put together my own setup video coming up in the near future. Up next, I wanted to talk a little bit about my process when it comes to writing a script, or this script in particular. When it came to writing this particular script, the easiest way for me was to speak my lines at the same time as typing them out. That way I've ended up with my natural speaking rhythms versus how I would write for a review article. There's some words that you use when you speak that you always use when you write, or vice versa. So for me, it was easier to do it in my natural speaking tone and then write that out and adjust it accordingly. This meant I had to approach it like this. I was just sitting here and winging the video, except this time it was far easier to put together. Let's talk about some of the important benefits when it comes to the T3 teleprompter. The first benefit was that the picture quality of the video is not affected. This was one of the main concerns I had by putting a piece of glass in front of an expensive lens. Anything in front of a lens you would assume would degrade the actual picture quality, but I'm looking at it on my reference monitor and it looks fine. It does look a little bit more green tinted than it would normally, but otherwise the picture quality in terms of its optics still looks really, really good. Secondly, you keep your eyes on the lens and not on the selfie screen, which is far more engaging for your audience. So if you're new to making videos, look at the lens, not at the selfie screen. Just a little tip there. I can tell already I'm going to cut my editing time down by about 70%. In this script, I wrote an X instead of a number because I was leaving that experience to my first time using this unit, and it's already much more time effective. Just because it's a teleprompter, it doesn't mean that you need to write an entire script out. Say for example, you're doing a technology review and you might just want it there for reading out the technical specs where you'd usually be looking down at a computer. You can also just use it for notes rather than an entire script if you still prefer to wing it. So overall, it still adds a great sense of functionality and confidence when talking to the camera. Let's talk a little bit about build quality. So for $110 US, the build quality of the teleprompter is decent. I haven't used any other teleprompters, so I can't compare it directly with anything else. I do like that the rings are metal and feel very solid, while the upper portion of the product is lightweight plastic. The benefit to having the upper portion lightweight, it's not going to weigh your camera down or tripod or anything like that. It's a very, very light unit. The remote feels pretty good as well. I wish it had AA batteries instead of AAA, but that's not a huge issue. The only reason is AAAs are usually a little bit harder to come by. There's a protective cover for the one-sided mirror that you can clip on and off nice and easily by sliding it upwards. The app functionality is not voice activated, so if you want to use a higher end app, you'll need to purchase it from the App Store. This isn't a deal breaker in any capacity, as the app that I'm using right now seems to be working really well. The only other downside is that the remote is a little bit too confusing without the manual on the desk. It's impossible to know exactly what the buttons do. That said, however, paired to my iPhone the first time without any issues, and it does work. Just get familiar with it before you actually try to use it properly. Setting the read speed on the teleprompter can also be a little bit on the fiddly side when using the remote control, but once you've got it locked in, you shouldn't have any issues. So let's wrap this video up by talking about my recommendations. Would I recommend the DesView T3 teleprompter? Yes, at 119 bucks at the time of filming, it works as expected. I also love the fact there's a free app download instead of having to buy that as an additional expense. If you want to up your YouTube delivery and don't mind writing your thoughts out ahead of time, then the DesView T3 teleprompter makes a lot of sense. Thanks for watching, and a huge thanks to DesView for sending this out for the review. All the links to the T3 teleprompter and my filming gear will be listed in the description below. I plan on using this more in the future, so subscribe for more videos coming up. Thanks again, catch you soon. See ya.